This might be one of the last videos before the National MCACN Show, and as you see here, we've made quite a bit of progress. Still have some things to do, but it's starting to really look like a complete car. Got all the buffing done, the wet sanding, all the miscellaneous trim pieces put on, pretty much interior exhaust, and start this car up. But we've been working really hard getting it ready for the show. Actually, it's staged right now for a show at my shop here, Angry Cylinders. And you can see I was able to get licensed Mr. Norm plates. That was pretty cool. And just in general, pretty happy the way it's turning out. Still waiting for the tires to come in and put the proper wheel and tires on this. But for the most part, it's getting there. Also, got what I believe is a 1960s original Grand Spalding sticker back on there. So we're starting to add the branding back to the car. Would have had one on there when it left the showroom. And you can see the new plates. It's kind of hard to see this side. Let me see if I can do this side, but you can see the lines on this car are really straight. Still looking for the top and bottom trim for the trunk. If anybody has an idea where you could get originals that are in great shape, please send me a message, let me know. I purchased the ones from Classic Industries, and they're just a solid bar of aluminum. They're shaped correct, but you have to drill custom holes, and they get bolted in there, and I'm just not liking the look of them or the way that they're applied. So I'm hoping to find some stock ones before the show. There's also the Mr. Norm sticker. Also, I have a copy now. This isn't original, but I have a copy of the build sheet. I could maybe zoom in on that for you guys. That could show that it was a special order. And 426 Wedge. So I got that on there. And I know quite a few people were asking me what Angry Cylinders is and what I do here. I'm pretty much just a Mopar collector, and this is my shop. I could do a little video tour, show you some of the other Mopars in the shop and some of the decor we have going on here. I don't know if anybody knows about Union Grove, Wisconsin, but we painted a mural on the wall. Pretty much that was from a photo of the actual day I was racing. So we put that up there. Clouds, trees were kind of like they were the day I was racing. And in front of us, you'll see I have a 1970 Coronet. This one here is kind of an oddball. You can see it has a nice California patina sunburn, but this car is super solid. The floors, the trunk, everything's original on this. The wheel wells, no rust, no bubbles, nothing. It does have a little bit of the typical rust on the rear window rail area. But where it's usually rusted out, it's really solid. Interior on it's really good. I'd call it Survivor interior. And this thing has a absolutely full fender tag, and it was born with a big block, which is kind of unusual for a Coronet 440 because most people went for the super big 500 RT. But this is an original big block, fully loaded Coronet. And this one here, maybe some people could recognize what this one is. I'll cheat a little bit, show you. Nothing too fancy about this car. It drives like a dream. 318, fully loaded, has basically power everything. But this was Chrysler's answer to the gas crunch to try to get more attraction to the hippie crowd, I guess, if you want to call it that, back in the day. This is basically their Southwest package called the Sundance, and they only made them in white and Aztec gold. And the production numbers are unknown, but they were only going to run it until they sold 150, but they pulled the plug after 3 months, and there's no records of how many were actually made. So my guess is it's probably less than 10 that are probably in running driving condition of each color. So I know I'm a Mopar guy. I don't know how this Pontiac got in here, but it's a nice, clean Pontiac. It's actually a Tempest, which are getting much harder to find in GTO clones because all these are being turned into GTO clones. But I almost would call this a Survivor, except it did have a repaint done to it. 58 Chevy. Bel Air has a 383 stroker in it. This one you've seen before. This is the 66 Coronet that I got basically just as a template for the rebuild of Gentle Ben, and make sure that we pick up on some of the stock details and stuff. And also we've been using it for donor parts for pieces here and there that we need, or better parts and exchanging them. So this here is a Survivor car, very low miles, 2-door. This is probably the car I have closest to what I would really consider a grade 1. It's actually a 2-door New Yorker. This thing's super, super clean. The engine compartment is just as clean. It's got huge fins on it. And again, this one here drives like a sofa going down the highway. Very smooth. This has got the 413 in it. This one's a 54 Cadillac convertible. There were several of these given away to celebrities for appearing on TV back in the 50s. And rumors have it that Marilyn Monroe's hasn't been found. This one came from that location. No claim that this is Marilyn Monroe's, but I guess because we don't know and it hasn't been claimed, I could say that it's possible. We really haven't done anything to verify that. A 1939 Chevy Coupe. On the surface, it just looks almost original. Obviously, pretty cool cherry wine color. And then you can see the wheels, 4-wheel disc. It's actually got 2002 Corvette's front suspension. This one also has a 383 stroker in it. Air conditioning, power steering, power brakes, and this one here, I could go down the highway 80 miles an hour, one finger on the steering wheel, and stop reasonably fast too. So I get some pretty good looks when I'm going down the highway, above 50, 60 miles an hour in this. So that's that one. You can see a bunch of rear tail fins here. This is a 69 Real CUDA, 383 CUDA. Rare enough by itself, pretty special by itself, but this one is actually a factory 4-speed. They only made 29 of these. So whoever checked off 4-speeds, there was only 29 people in 69 that checked off a 4-speed 389 or 383 CUDA. So this would be branded CUDA instead of Barracuda. And you can see it's a nice 4-speed. This one's really interesting. This is another Mr. Norm car. And before everybody jumps on me and says, wait a minute, That's a Plymouth. How can that be a Mr. Norm car? This car was not sold new by Mr. Norm. He was a Dodge dealer. But in 1969, this car was purchased by a person in Chicago. And they basically raced this car as a 383 and didn't think it was fast enough and knew Mr. Norm was doing his special 440. Well, Mr. Norm and Hearst were doing their 440 M code Dodge Darts. So they brought this one over there and basically from his service shop had them do the same thing they were doing in their shop, and they converted this to a 446 pack. I wish they would have kept the original 383, but they didn't. But still, based on the nostalgic shop time at Mr. Norm's, I'm going to keep it that way. I think that's more interesting. You can see on here one of the very original Mr. Norm Dyno Tune stickers. It's a decal, not a sticker. You can see a Chicago. This one says 1974 window sticker. And if anybody knows what Nelco is, hit me up, tell me what it is, because I have no idea what that decal's for. Maybe it was a factory or something where someone was working. I'm not sure. But yeah, this one has a 446 pack in it, and this one was actually signed by Mr. Norm. This one's a fastback. The other one is a notchback. This is a little bit of a muck, but it looks good. This one here is a 73 Dodge Charger, but somebody cloned it to be an RT, and they must have had an RT to clone this, because every single piece that's needed to clone this and every detail in the engine compartment pretty much has been converted to a RT. So I think they're trying to make it look like a 1971 Charger RT. It's also got the hideaway headlights. It's got a very potent 440 in it. Probably only giveaways is, I think, the doors and the rear quarter window would be different for a real RT. You have a 67 Coronet 500 convertible. That's the top is actually white, but I have black top breathing up there for my 67 RT. So this is a 67 RT convertible, mostly restored. Just a few details to go on this, some windshield wipers, a few little miscellaneous things, the top. Otherwise, this one's almost restored. This one's a 68 500 convertible. It was really born yellow, but it was kind of a light banana yellow, and when they repainted this car, they made it more the high impact yellow. I think that looks pretty good with the yellow and the black. This is a 68 RT convertible. It's a real RT, 440, pretty much all original number matching. And we're currently putting a new top on this, so that's what you see going on there. This one's in pretty good condition. And then we've got a 69 RT convertible. Also with a 440. Actually, all the Coronet RTs came either with a 440 or the Hemi. There was no other engine option. 1970 Coronet 500. This is definitely not an original color. This was a B5 blue, born by B5 blue with black, which probably would look a lot better than this color. It wouldn't have had the hood scoops. And somebody, for fun, put the Super B emblems on it. As you know, they never made a Super B convertible, but if they made a 1970 Super B convertible, that's probably close to what it would look like. This one's actually highly optioned. It's got a lot of stuff going on it. It's almost like a 500 and RT at the same time, because it's got the big block, it's got the wood grain stuff, it's got the rarer dash speakers, just a lot of little options that you don't see on the cars. You can see the sail panels on the back here, are the rear panels. This is a bit of a prize. This is a 1970 RT convertible. And this is probably, other than getting a Hemi, this is probably the next step down. And as you know, there was, I believe, only 2 Hemis built for 1970. One was sold by Graveyard, by Mopar Graveyard, it sold for over $1.5 million. But this one here is a 440 6-pack, 4-speed with a pistol grip shifter. So I would consider this probably the next step down to the 2 Hemis, of which one was destroyed, and like I said, one went to auction. So this is Alpine white, kind of a cool color with black. You can see the pistol grip shifter in there. It's got the rally gauges. It's got wood grain, which I don't know if that was an option or not, but it's kind of cool to see the wood grain in there. And that's pretty much it. So, hope you enjoyed the video.